Hey, how is everyone? LFT here. Whoops, I don't have it correct. There it is. That's correct. Hey guys. Hey, oh my God, Save Robbie sent you guys. That's so nice.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you guys, thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it. I know LFT appreciates it. Oh, there's Van, Lisa. Hey guys. Okay, so make sure that I am logged in but not making any noise. Okay, awesome. I can't believe Robbie sent you guys all over. That's so cool. Thank you for doing that. Thanks for coming in. We are just waiting for Robbie, but it's fine in the meantime. I'm so excited that he could be there, aren't you, LFT?
Yes, I know. Wait, don't be the mask. I'm right here.
Robbie's here. I'm going to add him. Hello, sir.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for coming on our little platform here. I'm going to make you.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
Of course. There we go. So before we get started, I have a couple little things I just want to go over really fast. One is I hope everyone knows who Robbie is. This is Save Robbie. And he has several channels. And I have spent a couple of days going through his channels and listening to some really good music.
Oh, thanks.
Robbie, I didn't know you had such a good singing voice.
My Aunt Sally will appreciate hearing that. She's in the chat. She's like my biggest fan when it comes to my music. She's like, you need to make more. I'm like, hey.
I seriously didn't know you did that.
No, I didn't either. Like,
and she started playing it the other night, and I was making the bed, and I was like, who are we listening to? And she's like, you're a dumbass.
He's Robbie. Second, you guys, if you don't know, Robbie has recently hit 10K.
Yes.
Congratulations. That's totally amazing. What?
Thank you.
We are still struggling to get, we're like chugging along. We're going. But it's so encouraging to see people that you admire hit milestones like that. So congratulations. That's really cool.
Well, it's good to see people I admire congratulate me because I admire you too. And you're hilarious when you go to Natasha's and you did the little parody and stuff. That was fun.
When I played Natasha.
Yes.
Do you know that was so funny? I couldn't get out of Natasha. When I went to go to bed that night, my husband said something to me and I was like, I'll be right there. He was like,
you just get stuck in that moment.
He didn't get it. He did not get it. Mods, please make sure that we're dropping Robbie's channel. But anyway, what I was going to do is kind of give you the floor initially and just have you tell us a little bit about what it is that you would like to tell us. Trigger warning, we are going to be discussing topics like abuse tonight in many different forms, addiction, things like that. But I'm going to give it to you to talk about whatever it is you'd like to talk about.
Well, so when you had messaged me to talk about like addiction and stuff, I think thank you for doing that, because I'm really open about my progress and when I've failed or when I've drank or whatever and all that stuff. And so if in case people don't know, the main reason about over a year ago in June of last year, I was in quarantine a couple of times, and my aunt can vouch for me. Like I was drinking a lot. And then that led to a gateway of meth, amphetamines. And so it was really damaging my body, and it was just hurting me really bad. So I decided to open up and finally just tell everybody about it, including my employer. And by doing that, it was like the truth sets you free. It really did, because there was no more of like that. Okay, I need to go hide in a hotel, or I need to go hide here for a while so people don't know what's going on in my life. I could finally be transparent about it. And when I screw up, you're held accountable because people know what's going on. So that was the main issue. And then I was sober completely off everything, cigarettes and everything, for almost a year. And then I had a breaking point, and I ended up getting really drunk one night. And I think that was in July. Okay. And ever since then, I'm still drink in and out, but I definitely my whole entire life have had different levels of addiction. So whatever questions you have, especially relating to the topic you wanted to talk about, I think is great to intertwine them together.
Okay. Well, I can tell you, pardon me, that, oh, wow, I just got choked up.
I've been dry heaving all day, so don't worry.
Oh, you poor thing. I come from a very long, undistinguished line of alcoholics. So, the theme of one of my parents is it's my mom, and she's a binge drinker, I guess you would call. She can go months and months and not have a drink. And then and then when she does, it's a week of crazy, insanity. And yeah. And I'll
sounds
be
about right. I can relate to that.
Yeah. When I saw some of the videos that had gone around, which God, I hope they're gone now. It broke my heart. It really broke my heart, because I've seen it and been there with my mom. So I felt like that was a rough time, and it was like, oh God, how can I help? What can I do? Make it stop. So
and I'm sorry you
I
went through that
from a different point of view than the addiction side.
Yes. And one thing that I thought was great, because when you first said, I want to intertwine it with the Summer Wells case, I was like, I don't follow it. I know, I've seen some of the interviews and stuff, but I can definitely relate because I recently saw a video where it seemed like maybe her parents were under the influence of something. And I wanted to touch on that because, first of all, going through sobriety and I'm so sick of saying the word my sobriety, because I'm always feel like I'm defending it or talking about it, but it's something that I do in my actual life. It is something I have to defend and protect. But when you're trying to do something like that and also be open about it, you make yourself vulnerable. And, of course, there's going to be attacks, or if people don't like you, they're going to talk about it. So when I saw a recent interview on Molly with Laura and Molly,
yes,
a lot of people, I don't know what your opinion is on that. And I don't even really have an opinion on the parents, but they're going through a hard time if, in fact, they lost their child without, being a part of it or anything. Right. So I don't know if alcohol or anything was something to deal with that beforehand, but you have to understand, like, you're witnessing people going through a hard time. So, I mean, I've been there too, for sure. And then it also leads to, people say, well, is this why? Was this going on before this happened? And I don't know. So I was going to ask you about that to kind of fill me in on it.
LFT is actually really good at that too. But yeah, yes, it has gone on for a number of years. Mom was addicted to meth and alcohol. I think just alcohol now. I think she's off of meth, or that's what's being portrayed now. I don't get that she's on meth now, but that's just me. I do think she drinks. I think her heart's broken. I really do. I think, and we are going to talk about in another podcast about Molly's interview. We have feelings on it.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did see clips on it.
It's a hard watch. It's a hard listen. And I don't know. Yes, the parents have an addiction problem, have had an addiction problem, have had children taken away prior to these children being taken away, and prior to Summer's disappearance. There's been an actual, they've had issues for quite some time, which brings me to thoughts and things like that. Like, could it have had anything to do with drugs that brought us to this situation? I don't know. No one knows. We're all speculating on this case. There's very little information on this case. The thing that is hard to watch is when Don, what I call panel hops. So he'll see who's live. Don is the dad, and he'll see who's live, and he'll go on while he's been drinking and just say awful things.
I've been there too.
Yeah, and you're like, oh God, no, and all you want to do is like reel it. You're screaming, like, reel it back in. Shut up! Don't say that. So, just speaking of that particular interview, that was a hard watch. That was a hard watch because you're like, like I said, I have different feelings on it, whether it should have happened, whether it shouldn't have happened, whether he knew he was live, which I'm going to go on record and say I'm pretty sure Don knew he was live on Molly's broadcast.
Yeah. I think so.
And I think that's why he called her. I also know that she was blowing him up a little bit, but regardless. So it's watching a very slow breakdown of a human. And it's really, it's hard to watch. And if he is guilty, you're like, drink up and tell us more, which is awful to say out loud. And I know that, and God, please forgive me for saying it, but.
Well, the truth does usually come out when you're drinking.
Yeah. So you think that?
See, I think that too.
From experience. Okay. Well, in LFT, I don't know like what exactly you think, but just in my experience, I have no problem. Like, let's say I try to be polite, when I'm not drinking, and somebody may say, hey, do I look bad in this dress? And I'll be like, maybe you should change it. But if I was drinking, I'd be like, oh yeah. Take it off. You look terrible. So it's like, you feel more, I don't know.
I've always followed that notion, and I can only speak for the girl, but saying a drunk girl's words or a sober girl's thoughts. And you just all of a sudden it's like no holds bar, like F it. Like outside,
your filter's gone and fucks are gone.
The liquid courage comes in, and
that's kind of my theory.
People normally in the morning, and I'm not saying everybody does this, but I do think, alcohol is a poison. So there are a lot of people that can control it. But in a sense, you're saying, hey, I can take this rat poison, but I'll control how much I drink. That's really what you're doing when you're just having a drink or whatever, in my personal opinion.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But as far as the drug part, when you, and I know, listen, I don't know if you've ever been in the meth world and met a group of people or people that sell it or whatever. There are some evil, crazy people where you're like, oh my God, am I going to get murdered?
Really?
Absolutely. There's been times where I'm like, no one's going to find my body. For example, I'll give you a quick example. There was this time where it was my birthday, and my boyfriend and I had went up. This was like 5-6 years ago. We had went up gambling in the mountains, and we got a hotel, and him and I ended up bickering because he was a pot smoker. He didn't like alcohol, and it was my birthday and I wanted to have fun. So he went up to the room I ended up running into 2 women that were doing meth, and I disappeared in this woman. Okay. When you're high, you're not thinking. She drove me out into the mountains in the middle of nowhere. She's like, this is where we have to smoke it. And she knew that I won, because I won like $500 on the Britney Spears machine that night. She kept, the more she's like, I'll take you back, because she wasn't going to take me back. I'll take you back because I got to go if you give me $20 more, $50 more. So here I am paying her over and over and over. And then I ran out of money pretty much. And I thought she was going to kill me in the middle of the mountains. She was an evil person for sure.
Oh, that's
There's so
terrifying.
many. Yeah. So that could invite, you said meth was involved in this family before.
Mhm.
That can definitely invite some people around.
Okay. People you wouldn't hang out with on the daily, but on a dark night, you never know.
Yeah.
What how long have you had, I mean, obviously, when did you start drinking? Or what is your I'm assuming it's meth drinking. What's your passion?
Well, my thing was always ever since I was 13. I don't want to put this on anybody I grew up around, but I grew up around, if you're stressed out, you have a drink. If you're
Right.
bored, you drink. If you want to have fun with your friends or have a party, you're drinking. Like
Mhm.
it's not going to be fun otherwise. That's kind of how I was trained with my friends, people around me and stuff. So it's always been like that. And it's always been full of regret. And of course, that opens up a door to a whole other world of other substances as well. So alcohol has always just been like, oh, I could have a drink or whatever. But the older I get, I'm going to be 40 next year. It hurts my body. Even when I do it now, and I'm like, why am I doing this? It's just confusing, because it's almost like, am I bored? Am I doing it just because it's a routine? But yeah, normally it's like, I'm stressed out. I'm going to get me a 12 pack.
So stress is a specific trigger for you.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I mean, I think that's for most people. That would definitely. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I'm stressed, I grab a glass of wine for sure.
Mhm.
But the difference, I think, is I can live without it the rest of my life and never go back. I can
See,
never
I
have a
can
drink and be
too.
okay.
Like, I'm not addicted. I don't. It's so weird, because I don't ever feel like I was addicted to it. It's just like something where I'm like, it's like an excuse,
Okay.
But I could, like, thinking about alcohol right now, anytime I'm just like, oh God, I don't want that headache. And I can go with or without, but there's those moments where I'm just like, I'm mad. Almost like a punishment to yourself or something. It's very strange.
That I can identify with. I can totally identify with that, and that's pretty interesting to me.
Messed up.
No, it's not messed up. I mean, I don't think so, because I totally have things that I do that I can identify with that. If I'm being like 100% real, I can identify with that. Where I get that masochistic side, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't think about the consequences. I don't really, whatever. And then, the next day I'm like, bad decisions.
Exactly.
Bad decisions were made. Bad decisions were made. Can't do that. So as far as LFT, do you have anything? I'm like taking up the time here.
Yeah, and it's nice
No.
to meet you, by the way, LFT.
She's
know.
amazing. She's amazing.
Well, I got to be honest. I thought that when I saw LFT Decipher podcast, I don't think I've ever spoke to you before. I thought that was one of your backups, so I didn't know you were 2 separate people. So I apologize.
Oh my God, that might be the best thing I've ever heard.
I know.
I was like, oh, wait a minute. There's 2 of them on here.
There are. Well, there's 2 of us, because
So it's
Lord
nice
knows.
to meet you.
I'm not bright enough to do this by myself, so I need somebody smarter than me to help.
Well, I think what triggered, not to use that word, no pun intended, but what triggered us was the other day, or our thoughts about this, or I might be totally lying out my backside. Is this how it came up? After Don got the DUI, and I posted something about it, just sharing the article and just like an update, just FYI, and the response, one of the responses, and I'm not knocking their response at all. Like, I just, like, I had to sit back and be like, because in terms of his, you know, the parents' issues with drugs and alcohol, whatever those may be, the person said, what does this have to do with finding Summer? Like, why do we care about this? And my response was, okay, fair point. I can see that. But for what I told, my response was, it's really hard for me to separate them from their situation. Like, their behavior to me speaks for itself. And I know they're going through, whether they're guilty of something or not, it's horrible and it's horrific. And I don't know I can't even imagine what that would be like to have a daughter missing and your boys taken and just the world. I mean, you're now like the center of attention. All the eyes of the world are on you, for lack of a better word. But I just said, I can't break it apart anymore. We're 4 months in, and their behavior and their actions speak to the bigger issue. Like, I can't separate mom and dad from finding Summer. Do you know what I mean? It's hard for me to make that distinction, draw that line in the sand. And so my thought was, from someone that I can't speak to having to deal with those kind of afflictions. I mean, not that I at least know of, knock on wood right now, but like, I've never had to battle that on a daily basis. Do you know what I mean? Like, have to kind of conquer my own demons and tendencies, as well as balance handling the rest of my life. Like, especially if something as significant as having a missing child is happening. And so in my eyes, it's all fair game. It all speaks to the bigger story. But then that's when we started talking about like the addiction thing, I was talking about like maybe talking to you, that maybe you could give some insight on that, because I may be out of bounds here, but I have to imagine it's something that you kind of have to actively, in one way or another, deal with on a daily basis, right? Like, doesn't it impact your lifestyle to a degree in one way or another?
It does. And I think also I'm really glad you guys are like talking about this, because when you look at the situation, and like I said, let's say, because from witnessing what I've seen, from the drinking that I saw the other day in that clip and stuff, it makes you wonder, because I don't have any opinion on if they were involved or not, but think about it. If you are acting like that when you're upset, and you're drinking and you're not paying attention to stuff and you're out of it, that means your guard is like, there's nothing protecting you. So if you have a family to protect and you're in that state of mind, and you're inviting people around, maybe drug dealers, other people like that, they know that you're not paying attention. So that's what makes me I'm just going with my intuition too.
Yeah.
Wonder if somebody was like, hey, they're not paying attention anyways. They never do. So
that's certainly has crossed our, it's on the list of theories that we have.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Actually, as of last night, I think. Is that when we talked about it?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we've been kind of, since you agreed to talk to us, we've been a little bit obsessed with this side of the case, because I to me, it's not only heartbreaking for the kids, for them, the entire family, for Don and Candace as well, but it makes people angry. You don't win any fans when you go on saying that you don't want to help an MFer because you're drunk. And what was I'm sorry, LFT, what did he say? I can't.
Oh God, it was awful. They asked him the other night, so I've kept a running list. We've kept a running list of his pleas or messages to his daughter. You know what I mean? Like when they say, if you had this is your opportunity right now, if you could speak to your child or the abductor of your child or whatnot. And they were pretty subpar, in my opinion.
Can you tell me what some of those were, just to give me an idea?
Yeah. Will you give me 30 seconds to open the spreadsheet?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll fill you in the meantime while she's doing that on one of them.
It was, but the last one was the murderous.
The fucker. It's the murderous motherfucker
basically his big thing
pedophile.
was like, he's like, excuse my language, but he was like, fuck that. Why am I going to plead to anyone else anymore? Fucking done with it. I'm not pleading. I don't have to plead to anyone. Why am I going to beg these murderous pedophiles? And he just starts
this motherfucker
dropping,
murderous pedophile. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the other ones he said though?
It's opening it. Right now it says Excel Microsoft 365 right over Robbie's face.
That's my new tattoo.
Some of the other ones were like, oh, I know what it is. So he's been accused of some sexual abuse. I'll say it. I don't care. We're not monetized. Mm-hmm. It's fine. To some of his sisters, stepsisters, etc., etc. It's even been rumored that perhaps Summer was abused. Mm-hmm. So when people ask him, hey, Don, if you could talk to your daughter right now, what would you say to her? He goes on these long tangents of how his sisters are lying and they will burn in hell and blah, blah, blah. And none of it having anything to do with Summer, all regarding his abuse and things like that have taken place that he's been accused of.
Yeah.
So it's tough when you're hearing that and you're like, dude, no, bring it back to Summer. This way. This way. This is how we want to do this. And he's calling people, people will say, well, what do you think happened to her? I think some hillbilly meth addict grabbed her.
That's what, like, my intuition, like, yes, definitely is what I've always thought as soon as I saw this case. I don't follow it like as closely as everybody else did, or like I did with the Watts case. However, I mean, it's just kind of like, I don't want to be rude, but kind of like common sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that intuition of like, look, like I said, you're looking at a family that does have these issues. And for example, when I was 19, I remember I had a boyfriend and he had a friend. We'd go hang out at her house because her mom would let us drink and we were underage, right? She was always wasted. I think she was high on something else. And she had, I remember our friend had a younger sister who was about 5 years old. She was always grubby. Her hair, she wasn't taken care of. She'd be walking around outside. Her mom would be passed out or drunk, like never know where she was. So I'm not saying they were like that, but when you're out of it, you're not in the right state of mind to watch over children.
Oh, I agree.
Or yourself. So
right. But I think that strongly has something to do. In fact, that's one of the things we were talking about last night. There's a span of time where I question what was going on in that span of time. Mm-hmm. And only Candace can answer that question. And for whatever reason, we're not getting the answers. But I think that has a lot to do with why there's no other suspects.
Dawn's plea. Okay.
Well, it's very easy to be under the radar when there's a big group of, because look, I'm just going to be blunt about it. If you're into drugs, there's a big, tons of different people. Mm-hmm. The people that I would ever do drugs with, none of them really even know each other. You're meeting all different sorts of crazy people, and some of them are a group, some of them know each other. You're inviting crazy people around if you're dealing with methamphetamines. Alcohol, I mean, that's a little bit different, but meth makes you crazy, period. And when you meet people that are selling it, doing it all the time, stuff like that, you're going to meet some pretty crazy people that'll even kill if you don't give them, the money or whatever. It's just,
Do you think that would, dangerous. Sorry, my thing is open, Robbie, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but do you think that's legit that someone, say they had no intention, take the pedophile side, like take the sexual abuse, if you can for a moment, like set that aside. Mm-hmm. Say someone, like you're saying, in that neighborhood, that this is their lifestyle, and they say they don't have enough money to make a score, or I don't even know. I sound like an idiot. I don't know the terminology as well as maybe I needed to research. But like, would they see a child and be like, okay, I'll trade her or something? Like, not give two craps about it. Like, do you think it would be something that's just like they don't give a fuck, for lack of a better word, and be like, all right, I don't have any money, I can get it if I like trade or do something, and then they just walk off like nothing happened? Like, in that mentality.
That sounds normal in the world of meth to me. I mean, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying in that scenario, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little quick story, okay? And this is kind of very weird, and it could be a little bit over the top for some people. I had an ex-boyfriend, okay? And he told me back when he used to be a meth dealer, this guy owed them money, and they literally, I'm going to be as clean as I can, popped his ball out of his sack.
Holy criminy.
Wait, I'm sorry.
I was like,
wait, hold on. Can you?
They had him pinned, okay? And they popped his ball out of his sack.
Why? Why?
So, and yeah, that's what I was asking my boyfriend, because we were talking about it after the fact. And I was like, because he told me how he used to do it a long time ago. Listen, you're not in your right state of mind. There's a lot of, for me, meth was a sex drug. Okay. But if I were to do that every day, and I've met people, you know, the people you would buy it from, they're doing it every day, all day long. Now, it would only take me a couple puffs and I'd be high for 3 days. Okay. Wouldn't need any more. I can't imagine because I would feel crazy afterwards coming down. I couldn't imagine doing it nonstop. It will make you crazy. Anybody that's dealt with it, or anybody that they know that's dealt with it, they know that.
Wow.
So there's no telling what people would do. Trading, it's a very sexual drug.
That's that was my next question. You know, I wondered if that could have anything to do with, did we traffic her for the goods?
Yeah.
I mean, is that a thing that you're aware? I mean, not that you're aware of, not the people you hang out with, but I'm just saying, like, is that?
I mean, I've heard some pretty crazy stories from people. Because I mean, obviously, mainly the people I hung out with were gay. But I've heard some pretty weird fetishes come out of people before. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay,
yes,
we'll leave it at that.
So, and then it kind of makes you like, really? So yes, I definitely think that would be. I mean, look at a lot of the stories that you're dealing with SA, and there is normally some sort of substance involved in that. You know, people not being in their right mind, people not thinking about consequence, all sorts of stuff. And I mean, again, I'm thinking about the outside of the Wells house, and you know, this situation of what's going on, and how easy it would be if you're a crazy person and you know that they're not paying attention.
But when does it become? But Robbie, at this point, for a parent, and I'm not. I want to kick them in the face sometimes, but I'm not arguing that they don't have a much bigger issue, like dependency issue in one way or another. But at some point, when do you say, knock the shit off? Like, you either get help and better yourself, or is it just
did you have a specific moment where you were like, okay, I can't do this anymore? Or
multiple times?
I was going to say, yeah, that was or did you just have many? And it was like,
there was one big moment, and that was way before June. This is when I opened up to my family and my boyfriend at the time, that I had a problem when I would binge drink and then go and do meth. I actually lived with my boyfriend at the time, and I ended up getting a hotel because I needed to get the highness out of me for a couple of days. I didn't respond to any phone calls. Nobody knew where I was. That's what I did every time. I would disappear. People would think I was dead. And I remember it was a very sexual drug. So I remember being completely naked in the hotel room, and I found the Bible and I just gripped it on the ground. And I was like, because all of a sudden I was coming down and all that consequence was starting to come to mind. So when you place yourself in a situation like that, maybe these folks have been in that situation and something terrible happened. And now, you know, whether they're involved or not, it's, you know, it's that lack of responsibility and guilt. And how do you cover that? You cover it by drinking more
Mhm.
or
The
filling it with
guilt.
substance. Mhm.
Yeah. Well, because you feel, and that's that now that portion of it is a reminder of what I dealt with, but
Mhm.
and that breaks my heart. That breaks my heart for anybody and everybody, because here you are having a moment and you have to get rid of the moment because you feel terrible. So you drink more to get rid of that feeling of guilt. I mean, it's a horrible cycle, and it really does break my heart. I do feel for these people. I'd like to kick him in the nuts, but I also do have slight bit of compassion for
See, mine's wearing thin. She's got more compassion than I do at this point.
you know why? Because I know it's a disease, and I can't, and that's where I struggle, because it is a disease. It's no different than other diseases.
shit.
What's going
Well,
on?
let
over
me
there?
give you an example.
Sorry.
For example, I used to
hate
go
that.
to bathhouses. Okay.
Mhm.
There was this one you can look up. There's an article on it. Actually, they closed it down. It was called the Triple C Bathhouse in Denver, Colorado. There was an actual, I believe, sheriff that got arrested there for dealing drugs and stuff. But I was in there one time years ago. This was like 10 years ago before they closed. And I literally witnessed, you know, everybody's high there, everybody's doing drugs. I literally witnessed somebody having a seizure, like they were overdosing, and nobody said a word. They just stood around him, and I was like, what are they doing? Like, because if somebody would have called the police or something, everybody would have been in trouble. And it was a normal thing. And I remember being high, and you don't think about it, but I also remember thinking like, somebody needs to do something. But I was also scared because these people are like, no, nobody's calling the cops. And I'm like, it was scary. So I could see how if something happened, you just kind of cover it up with no feeling.
Yeah. Wow.
So, I mean, these are a lot of the things I was like, you know, I can't talk about Summer Wells. I don't follow that. And then when I was looking at the stuff, I was like, this will be easy to intertwine the two because.
Oh, it really is. It really is. And you just have been so honest and open with your journey, good, bad, or indifferent. And I'm so grateful for that. Number one, as someone on the other side who I'm coming LFT, as someone who is
Sorry,
on
guys.
the opposite side.
It's okay.
I get it. I get it. And it's hard. It's hard to watch, but yet I said I do want to kick him in the nuts a little bit. Just maybe twice. Maybe twice.
Before you show this, can I answer Kieran's question?
Yeah.
I started it because
Yes,
I remember when I was 19, I had fallen asleep at a house party with my boyfriend was still downstairs having fun. And I remember I couldn't sleep and I was like, why? It's been forever. How come he's not passing out yet? Went downstairs and the only thing I was doing was drinking. You know, I barely smoked pot.
Mm-hmm.
I go down and I catch him smoking out of this glass pipe and I was like, what? And I thought he was smoking pot. And then I looked, I was like, what is that? And he was, no, just go back to bed. I was like, and I basically was like, you're going to tell me what that is right now. And he told me, and I'd never heard of it before. I was like, let me try it. And he like begged me. He's like, no, you don't want to do this. And I was like, give it to me or I'm breaking up with you. Let me try it. That's how I tried it. And then you just kind of get sucked in from the feeling, you know, but it's very easy, especially if there's a gateway leading to it. Is this an audio you're playing or?
Oh yeah. So sorry, I keep a list, but I thought, if you could hear how he talks, if that would help. Cause I know you haven't, followed it.
Yeah.
So, okay. Bear with me, y'all. I don't know if I just messed this up or not.
That's okay.
Let me know because then I want chat to be able to ask him a couple of questions before he's got to go. Because you guys, Robbie's got a stream as well with Leanne that they're going to be talking about some things. When we're done here, go over to Save Robbie and watch his stream coming up.
If we end up going over a little bit, it's okay. I could push it out, but
Like, just I want to make sure that people, if they have a chance to ask you a question while you're here and willing, that they get the opportunity to do that too, if you don't mind.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So I can't even remember what this one was, but so we're going to September 2nd. And how this is just an example of how he like fluctuates too. So talking with voices in Prairie Boy.
Do they still talk, by the way? Or
I don't. I guess.
I think off and on they do.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I mean,
I think they do, right? I think that Dawn or Cher contacted they contacted each other after Molly's live. So I don't know. I think Cher's very protective of him. I think she's trying to, to be protective of him. I think he personally takes advantage of it, but what do I know?
Yeah. Well, what do any of us know, huh? That's the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
point of true crime and piecing stuff together and using
I love
common
it.
sense.
I'm so addicted. Now that's my drug.
Yeah, that's why there's some a lot of true crime I've stayed away from lately, just because there's so much that goes into it. It's like, God, I have a headache, And then
Well,
there's
and
so
so
many
much of it is
debates and conspiracies.
Yeah. Go ahead, LFT. I'm sorry.
okay.
I could hear
Can
you
y'all
right
hear
now
that?
then, Dawn. Why don't we take a minute?
Okay. Okay. Just like I would tell anybody out there.
Oh shit.
God love.
You pretend
God
you're in
love.
the world,
Okay.
and maybe
All right.
Summer's listening to you right now. Someone would you say?
I'd like to say that a lot of people say that I'm hiding behind the church. Yeah, they're right. I'm hiding behind the church. God can cover a lot of sins. I've done a lot of bad things in my life. And God can cover a lot of sins. And, and that's my hope and prayer. I'm not saying that I'm a major criminal or anything that everybody's trying to make me out to be, because I'm not that person that law enforcement and people like Ernie or McDonough is trying to make me out to be, because I'm not that person. I have a kind heart. I always have. That's why I got out of that stuff, because I do have a kind heart. I'm not willing to hurt anybody. I've never hurt anybody. But I know God does offer forgiveness, and I hope you all do the same thing. That's what we all seek, is forgiveness of our sins, because nobody is sinless. We all fall short.
Yeah.
All right. Can
Wait,
we
hold
stop
on.
it there for one?
Yeah.
God, you guys are sucking me down the rabbit hole, darn you.
I mean, do you get like what we're saying about this guy? Like
Well, I don't know if you ever, I am a very firm believer in intuition, and
yes,
my intuition's just going off the charts right now.
I know.
Okay.
I know. This is why it's hard, because you're like, as I said, you want to kick him in the nuts, but then you're like, just freaking tell me where she is. How did this happen?
Okay, wait. Hold on.
Yeah, there's listen, a lot of people don't like when I compare my hamsters to children, but my hamster, or any pet that I've ever had, I hold that life in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
My hamster, if I forget to give her fresh water, food, bedding, keep her clean, if I just abandon her, so I know the feeling of taking care of somebody and caring about them and keeping them alive. And I'm sorry, but if my hamster ran away, I would sound way more upset than that.
Well,
and I wouldn't care about my reputation. Uh-oh, there's an echo.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care about my reputation if my child was missing. I would be more concerned, like, who gives a damn what you think about me? I want to find my kid.
And
Carol would not survive.
I want to show people. Hold on.
Now you're going to have me binge watching Summer Wells stuff. What did you do to me, you guys?
You know what? I can give you the Cliff Notes version. You can just go in our group and read the ton
Well,
of
yeah,
things.
I mean,
It'll save you the time of watching the silliness, you know?
yeah. Well,
There's a
I haven't got involved in like any of the really Gabby Petito in the beginning. It was interesting, but then there was nothing else left, and I didn't want to ride that wave. And then
Yeah.
Summer Wells, most of the time, it's like when you see good people are covering stuff, it's like there's no need to talk about it. And now you're like sucking me into being interested. I'm going to be watching you guys all the time now if you're covering this.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys are
Oh my God.
wonderful.
Oh, we are so thrilled to have you here. You have no idea how excited I've been all day.
Aw.
I have let's see if I can bring it up really quick. I want to bring up
Can I talk now, or am I still echoing?
There's no
no,
echo.
you're not echoing anymore. You're fine.
I'm
And
just
of
gonna
course you can
send.
talk.
I'm just gonna send Robbie all the clips, the timeline of the clips that we have put together for each plea, and just watch it to see. Like,
Oh,
this is where I'm just
great.
like, this is like time to fish or fucking cut bait, parents. Like, get your shit together. Like, get the support. You've got people willing to help you. Like, I get it. It's got to be hard. I get it. And then you're going through this hard time. So this is the thing you depend on or that you turn to.
Mm-hmm.
But when does it quit being a crutch? Like, I don't. It's more of an excuse to me. Like, I don't I appreciate everything you're saying because it's helping me understand it more. All I can remember in terms of me dealing with things with addiction is when I went to go help my dad set up for AA meetings. And all I remember was eating the lemon cookies and taking the lemonade. Like, I don't, it wasn't, I didn't have that in my, I just didn't have that dynamic around me all the time. I mean, that's what we did on like Wednesdays evenings, go set up for his meeting and I took cookies. But at some point there has to be a balance. It has to be like, you're willing to fall in this gutter and lose everything because the addiction is that powerful, or because you choose not to give it up. Like, how do you, it's such a hard balance because I don't want to judge anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but there's people that I grew up around that I try to imagine them in the same situation. And like, this is something I witnessed, growing up all the time. And I don't know, I kind of like can see how somebody would be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to drink, or love you, Aunt Sally. I'm just going to drink, or I'm just going to do this. And because I'm hurting, or I'm stressed, or maybe I'm stressed because I'm guilty. Maybe I'm stressed because people think I'm guilty, and that, covering that up and that pain. But at the same time, it's like, there's work to be done here, So in those moments, maybe I've never been deep enough in addiction that I thought I did, because when you're in a moment like that, you should snap out of it. You snap out of it and say, okay, I need to get my shit together because we need to find my child. There's no time to beat around the bush. Hell, I wouldn't be sleeping, and I wouldn't even be on meth. I just would not be sleeping, period.
Right. No eating, no
I would
sleeping.
be digging holes in the forest. I would be looking at under every rock, like,
And then trying to clean yourself up enough, whether the boys were taken away because they were, it was becoming too dangerous with people coming on the property. However, I don't care. But whatever, you would want to be doing everything in your power to also get your family back. And that behavior I can't imagine anyone in their right mind being like, all right, they almost have a staircase now. They look like they were sober for 27 hours. Let's give the boys back. I don't get it. And I don't know how, when you're at the risk of losing your family further.
Well,
It frustrates
have you guys
me.
ever been...
It frustrates me and breaks my heart at the same time. Like, it really does.
Right. Well, anybody here, I mean, even if you don't have an alcohol problem, have you ever been under the influence of something and maybe something happened, or you got in trouble and you're like, oh my God, we gotta, you got pulled over by the police, Or,
Uh-huh.
maybe when you're a teenager, the police break up the party and you're hiding or whatever. There's those moments when you're not thinking right and something happens and then you come to and you're like, holy crap. How the hell am I going to explain this? In their case, in my personal opinion, I agree. I think, well, I don't want to point the fingers, but I think that definitely there's an outsider involved that it was like just kind of a, maybe even a high situation where it just was, I don't know. I don't want to like say anything because I don't want to get anyone in trouble.
No,
here,
I get
but
that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share this really quick because I didn't want to take you off the screen, but I'm going to share your fur baby. Look at the beautiful little Carol.
Carol.
She is so damn cute. Oh my God.
She's the nicest creature I've ever met in my life.
Really? Because I
She
have
is.
a dog who is not. He's the most spoiled creature.
I'm telling you, like Carol, my other hamster before her, didn't like being picked up and I had to pick her up with gloves because she would bite me. Carol literally will just like beg like a little dog to get into my arms and just crunch. She's just so sweet.
We love her. Does anyone have any questions for Robbie before he has to jump off? And I wish when we go off, I do have a story to tell you that's really funny about you and your hamster that you don't even.
Oh my God.
Oh,
you can say it on here. I don't mind.
No.
Oh, okay.
Can we?
Yeah, I don't care.
No.
I really don't. I'm like an open book, so I
really
don't care.
It's actually it has to do with another group that
Don't
we were in.
do it.
I won't.
Oh, okay.
Do it.
I won't. I'll wait till we go.
Okay.
We're
we
going to
can
cut it
tell
off in
after.
about 2 minutes. So if anybody has any questions for Robbie, please feel free to ask.
Or we could maybe pass them along to you, or do it. Or
Well, I
do another
definitely
live.
kind of, once I like am sucked now into all of this, I definitely want to come back and talk to you more about it because now I'm more interested in like, what the hell is going on here?
Oh, we can get you in from the beginning to now. We have timelines. We have so much. Prison Break Cake. That's so sweet. I feel the same way.
Yeah,
we're
thank you.
You do inspire. You inspire many, and I hope that you realize that. Like for all the things that have been said, done, what have you, I don't know. I don't care. You do inspire many.
Well, thank you. That means a lot because there's a lot of you get involved, and sometimes I'm one of those people where from the very beginning I have a relationship with Christ, and he's that small intuition inside that says, shut your mouth. So if I would have any advice for anybody on here, like you're wonderful. You have great conversations. When people come after you, you should just shut your mouth because I have not. And then all of a sudden it explodes even worse on here. And then it takes off what you like to do. It takes off the whole point. Like I used to make music on here, do parodies, funny stuff. And that's what I try to stick to. And then, you fall down the rabbit hole. That's why I try sometimes to stay out of these true crime cases because that's where you find a lot of loonies.
Well, I'm lucky because I'm a fighter, and if you say something, I'm also an Aries, so boom, I'm gone. There is no reach, like gone, no return. And then there's LFT, who's very calming, and she's like, you just heard her. You just heard her. Don't do it. Don't do it. She is she's the conscience. She's my voice along with Christ.
Are you a Cancer, LFT?
No, I'm a Virgo.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
Yeah. Well, you're just very in your calm, and you're very it seems like you know what you want.
She does.
That is a Virgo thing, like OCD. That's a Virgo.
Oh my God! Out the wazoo, I am. Legit. Like if the rest of my life can't be in order, everything else is going to be. So at least I feel, no, it only set my clock. Like I only turn my car off on even numbers. Like I won't, I'll sit in the car for a minute. I won't turn it off at 7:51. I'll turn it off at 7:52.
Dude, a Virgo is the type of person where if they see a crumb on the counter, they have a specific way they want to clean it up. So they go to get the thing. And if you move it, they're like, that was my crumb. I was going to clean it up. Yeah. That's how a Virgo is.
I know.
That explains a lot.
Shut up. No, because I feel like I'm basically like a Pollyanna for that. Like I can talk a good game, but it's been drilled. Just I'm not as combative because I had a different upbringing where I had volatile, like, knockout, drag out, like you become the peacekeeper is what I'm so accustomed to. And so I do that. But I will tell you one thing though, you push me too far.
Crazy mama just said it. She's meaner than you think, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
Not as nice as
Virgos?
she used to be.
My sister's a Virgo. I know you guys. My sister
I
used to
mean-
beat me with the phone.
I mean, like it takes a lot. Like but yeah. But I'm kind of that. What comes after? What's after Virgo? What's September? Like
Libra.
Libra, yeah.
wait. August. I'm 8/20. I'm August 26th. Is that closer to the Libra or is that the other? What's before? I don't know.
Oh, you're
so-
Virgo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before is
I'm
Leo, Virgo,
Okay.
Libra. So you're
Okay.
definitely Virgo.
No.
Virgos are very stubborn as well because you have a certain way you want things
Stop
done.
looking at me.
And you also don't like people telling you what to do. That's a Virgo thing as well. But you do like to tell people what to do.
I don't know.
God, now
Wait,
all of a sudden it's turning into zodiacs, which is my
Wait a
favorite
minute.
topic.
I don't think I tell people what to do.
Oh my God, I could talk for years on this. Okay, you have to come back and hang out with us and we'll just do a whatever night and we can just talk about what the hell ever is on our mind.
I'm going to bring Alchemy by Stars. Do you know her? She is
No.
wonderful. She does star charts on her channel. And her and I actually planned we'd need to reschedule it, but she did a whole serial killer star chart. She was on my channel one time doing the Chris Watts, the whole chart of how things went down. And she's very good at doing all of the stars aligning and everything, how things happen. You should definitely have her do that for this case. She is amazing. And
Wait,
I
I
will
just
think
wrote
I
it
saw
down.
this.
I'm gonna
I actually
We're
think
gonna-
I saw this. What was the name again, Robbie? I think I actually saw. Did you?
Alchemy by Stars.
Let me text her real fast and see if she can come in here. Hold on 1 second.
Because wait, I think I saw yours. Did you have her on and y'all were? Well, I don't know, Robbie. You do so many lives and you don't even know I'm watching.
Well, I'm so sorry, LFT. Seriously, your
I
name,
don't care.
Decipher Podcast. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Tia has a different picture
Tia?
for that one. I'm like, but
Why
that's
is she
both her
multiplying?
accounts.
It's weird. Why is she doing that?
And you know what? I'm terrible with that as far as
Oh, I
Facebook
don't-
too and other platforms because people will say, hey, or they'll add me. And I'm like, who
You're
is
like,
that?
what?
Because the names are different. But it is very nice to meet you and know that you're
We'll
like a real
try.
person.
I had to create my Facebook, and it's kind of hard when your name. I've been LFT forever. Like that's hard to make it into a real initials into a real name on Facebook
Well.
for it to qualify.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
When you get the friend request, when you're like, "What the hell is this word?" and you pronounce it and it sounds like LFT, then it's me.
Wait a minute. Is Alchemy on Molly right now? Hold on, let me
Yeah.
see. She's amazing. So you guys just got
Where
to
is
check
she?
out her channel. I'll send her a link to you as well. But she's just awesome.
I love that. All right, you guys, we're gonna call it an evening because Robbie has his live to do. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I really appreciate it, and thank you, Robbie, for coming in and talking to us and educating us. And you are
Well,
welcome
a little.
anytime. Really, anytime. We love you. You're part of. You're one of us now, sir.
Well, we're all a big family. It's like, and you're always
I love
welcome over. I see you all over, and of course, you guys are always welcome over on my channel too. And it's like I always get weirded out when people ask me to do stuff almost like an interview thing because I'm like, oh, what am I gonna say? You get I was nervous.
Oh, I can't
At
believe
first.
you were nervous.
But thank you. It's just because it's weird, There are a lot of people that they're interested in my sobriety, and I have no problem talking about it. But I was more nervous about the Summer Wells part because I was like, I don't follow Summer Wells really, just parts of it. And now you sucked me into the hole. Now
Oh
it's
my
all
God,
your
I can't-
fault.
I
can't
know.
wait.
I should apologize and also thank you.
Yeah.
All right. All right, you guys, have a great night. And if you'd like to subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up. Make sure you check out Robbie right after us. And thank you for sending your crew over here to us. I really appreciate that, Robbie. Everyone have a great night. Thanks.